Hi guys, in this video we're going to very quickly show you how to amortize a fixed mortgage over the first 12 months of the mortgage, no matter what the maturity of that mortgage may be. So in this section over here are my inputs. Okay, so I have my interest rate, I have my maturity in years, the principal amount of my loan, and I'm going to calculate the monthly payment. Then we're going to proceed to calculate for the first 12 months, for the first year, monthly, the interest payment portion, the principal portion, and the updated balance of the loan. Okay? So I think this is useful. There are a couple websites that perform this for you. They make you look at a lot of advertisement and put in a lot of other information sometimes, and also it'd be nice also to know what's going on, how to do it yourself. So I think this is a useful tool for anyone looking to get a mortgage. Okay, so first let us calculate the monthly payment. So this is a 5% interest rate. Let's change this to 7%, and let's make this a 30-year, and let's make this loan for $200 flat. So let's calculate the monthly payment. We use a function in Excel called PMT. Equals PMT, we input the rate, we divide that rate by 12 because that's an annual rate and we want to divide it to a monthly. The N per argument is the number of payments, so it's the number of years times 12, comma, the principal of the loan. We put a negative sign and we click the principal for the PV, the present value. The following two arguments of the function are for much more specific situations, which we're going to leave out. We're dealing with a very generic fixed mortgage amortization. We close the parentheses, so we inputted 3 separate parts, hit enter, and this is our monthly payment, $1,331. Now, when we amortize, we want to see how much of this payment is going to interest and how much of it is going to principal. And of course, if you have any experience with mortgages, you know that in the beginning of the loan, in the first few months and years, a larger percent is going to interest and less to principal. And as the loan goes on to maturity, closer to maturity, that actually changes. It goes, more of the payment is going to principal and less to interest. And we'll see that, hopefully we'll see some of that in the first 12 months. Okay, so to calculate the interest payment portion of the loan, the function is equals IPMT, and the inputs are very similar. We're going to take the interest rate, divide it by 12, and we're going to put dollar signs around the reference to the interest rate because we're going to make that an absolute reference, comma, the period, which is the first month, and we just click on that, comma, we leave that as a relative reference, by the way. The maturity, the N per is the number of payments, so it's the maturity times 12, and we're going to lock that cell. Okay, make an absolute reference. And finally, the present value of the loan, or the principal, and we put a negative again, as I explained, and we're also going to absolute reference that. Close the parentheses, and we can drag this formula down, and you see as we go closer to the 12th month, the interest is actually decreasing, even though it's very slow. This is a 30-year mortgage. Okay, if I were to change this to 5 right now, all these formulas would update. My monthly payment amount, as you saw, increased dramatically because it's a 5-year mortgage, and the difference between the first month payment and the 12th month payment is much bigger than when it was 30. I'll go back to 30 so you could see, right? And that's the great thing. Once you build this table, you can play with the interest rate, play with the maturity, play with the principal, and everything will update. That's the real power of all this, as opposed to doing it by hand. Let's go back to our 5-year, 5%, 30-year, $200,000 loan. And let's now calculate the, actually I think we had 6%, 7%. There it is. Let's calculate the principal portion of the payment. So here it's equals PPMT, principal payment. And the arguments are almost exactly the same as for the interest. Our rate divided by 12, and we're going to absolute reference the rate cell, comma, the period, which is this month right here on the row that you're typing the formula, comma, the NPER is the number of payments, so it's the maturity times 12. And we want to absolute reference the maturity cell, D5, comma, negative the principal amount. And we also want to absolute reference that. The reason why we absolute reference these cells is because when we drag these formulas down, we don't want these to change. And when you don't want a reference to change, you put dollar signs around the reference, or as the terminology of Excel is, absolute reference. Okay? Hit enter, and that's our principal portion of our payment. We can drag this formula down to the 12th month, and you can see that this first principal is less than this principal. And as I said earlier, and I'm sure you're aware, as you get closer to the maturity date of the loan, more of the mortgage payment is, of your monthly payment is principal, and less of it is interest. And we can start to see this trend here. Interest is going down, principal is going up. Okay, now let's just calculate our balance. And to do this for the first month, it's slightly different. We have to take the principal amount and subtract the principal paid in the first month. So our principal goes down by $163.94. For the second month, we take the previous month's principal and we subtract the principal paid in the second month. And now we can drag this formula down. So we see by the 12th month, we've only paid down a little over $2,000 on this principal, right? By the way, if we were to sum any two of these cells for any month, we would always get this same exact number. Okay, and you can check that. You can actually highlight any one of these, come to the bottom section over here. It gives you a little summary, and that sum is exactly 1,330.60 cents. That's because I'm hiding some decimals here. So you see that exactly matches that number. Okay, so now that we've constructed this and we've done it with the proper references, all the formulas referring to these inputs in purple, we can play with this, and we've got ourselves a mortgage amortization calculator on our desktop. We created ourselves without having to go on some website. So we can change our interest rate, we can change the maturity of our loan, we can change the principal to any numbers we like, and we could immediately see our monthly payment, how much our principal is, how much our interest is, calculated over the first 12 months, as well as how our balance is decreasing, where our balance is at. And I just did this for 12 months to keep it simple, but you can actually continue this on down as far as you'd like to the end of your loan, and see this out to the very end, and see that at the end you will in fact get to a principal of 0, which is where we all strive to get to. Okay, so I hope this was helpful. Make sure to check out my other tutorial videos in Excel, Access, PowerPoint, and Math. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, comment, favorite, like. Until next time, have a great day.